What is going on out there, peeps? All right, we're going to get back into what's going on with cryptos and precious metals. Sorry to take a drink before I cough. So Jefferson said this the best because he's the only one that said it, but the issuing power should be taken from the banks and restored to the people to whom it properly belongs. I was watching this report. I don't know. It had to been about 2.5, 3 years ago. It's an older report, but I was listening to what the guy was saying. He was going on about what I've been talking about. That we've allowed the government to start doing away with a lot of constitutional rights. But the biggie, the worst one, is allowing the Federal Reserve to exist. These are non-elected bureaucrats in there that work with the Bank of International Settlement, who dictate our monetary policies, which violates our constitutional right. There are some counties starting to enforce, and I mean sheriffs and them, enforcing on all individuals, including elected officials, enforcing the Constitution. Telling them if you try to pass laws or rules that violate the Constitution, there are repercussions for that. It tells you in the Constitution that those individuals are to be removed, and the police officers are not to enforce any law that violates the Constitution. And they went and listed everything on there. Period. There's no ifs, there's no ands, and no buts. So now more and more counties are starting to adopt it on their own. What that does is this: it puts the feds in check. They just keep passing laws. They're not supposed to pass laws. We bring up the law. I said that many times. But the worst one is the fact that the Federal Reserve and these central banks around the world have the kind of power that they do. And we allow it because most of us are unaware of this. I think the Constitution should be a class taught at every grade level. Just get more and more details so people understand what their rights are. We're starting to sacrifice our rights for fake security. Anyways, this is a big one. They're using taxpayer dollars right now. Anyways, the report went on to say taxpayer dollars are being spent to benefit the wealthy. BlackRock has been buying up a ton of assets using taxpayer dollars. We fund these organizations that funnel money to politicians, all with taxpayer dollars. Every time they screw something up, they use taxpayer dollars. The Federal Reserve fiat dollar is not real money. It violates our Constitution. We allow it. But anyways, we can change the system. I told you, if you start using a different currency away from the one they want you to use, they lose a lot of power. So we definitely want money outside of the system. That's starting to become more and more evident. I showed you yesterday during the Iraq dinar update that now their central bank's like, yeah, we're almost ready to just go digital. You want to go 100% digital and trust the government? Control your money? And now Maxine Waters is saying they want social scoring like China. And you guys want to stop the filibuster? Oh, good Lord. So if you're going to go buy gold and silver, go check out our friends over at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you're a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and get a free half ounce of silver. Now more than ever, you need something outside of the system. Literally outside of the system. For those of you asking about my address, there it is. And you guys know I got this alternative website. There's videos and information that I can share there that I cannot show on this platform. I showed you guys what's on there. You guys know I got Pimpy's Investment Chat. It is a Facebook group. In here we do talk about gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currency investments. It's free to join. The link is down below in the description. So last night I started to watch cryptos make a good run. I was thinking to myself, it's about dang time. Except for all of a sudden they started dropping back down again. With, exception of one, Ethereum. Ethereum seems to still be doing pretty good. Now, this is what gets me about cryptocurrencies. They all usually move together one way or another, which this is how you know this particular market. Why would that happen? That means the whole thing is driven on speculation. So currencies move together. So if Bitcoin does really good, usually the rest of them do good as well. That's not an investment you want. They should be able to perform on their own merit. Okay? So July is coming up. I told you there's a window of opportunity. I really thought they were going to make their run starting last week. And then when gold and silver started to go down in value, sure enough, crypto started to go up. That wasn't surprising to me whatsoever. But now you see almost the opposite. Today, gold and silver go up, and now cryptos are going down. So it's nice to see silver jump up above $26 as the July contracts are being delivered. Man, I'm telling you, there was like 1 million ounces set to be delivered. So heck yeah, they're going to, one last time, beat down the price. So they can fill their orders with cheaper silver. So people are going, it didn't happen overnight. I said, I'm not the one that said it was going to happen. I told you I was one of the handful of people that said that silver is going to, the next couple of weeks is going to go up gradually, and then you're going to see it run. There's no doubt about it. Everybody's talking about it right now. There is a shortage on the market. We're watching the comics. We're watching the LBMA. We're watching the deliveries. We're watching the inventory. We're watching to see what happens. Okay, so people are going, see, nothing happened. See, nothing happened. It's happening. All right, let them clean up their mess real quick. They're supposed to have already done it. So anyways, and the other rumor is that they might help extend the Basel III to the end of the year or the beginning of next year. So, either way, it doesn't matter. All I know is right now you should be in precious metals. Sooner or later, this sucker is going to skyrocket. When they remove the tools to manipulate the market, they're not going to be able to hold it down no more. It is going to take off. I'm not even worried about it. To me, right now, I just say, hey, precious metals are still on sale. To me, this is really cheap. It's probably the cheapest it's going to be ever. Because after this, once it goes up, it's never going to come back down to this level. Not ever. Not at all. They're already talking about how on one platform was talking about, Basel III and how the silver squeeze has interrupted the Great Reset's plan. Because right now, the European Bank has been on the verge of collapsing for quite some time. If that collapses, that screw their plans, they're through. They're done. It's over. They can't do the Great Reset. But the problem is, there's so much debt out there that if they raise even a fraction of a percentage rate on interest, that collapsed the economy. So I think they had cornered themselves. Why Russia and China are stocking up on gold and silver like they never have before. These people are putting along, trying to put this plan together to control the world is what they're trying to do. It looks like, somebody threw a monkey wrench in there, 45 did, hurrying up and getting everybody their vaccines. People are starting to rebel. People are rising up. They're not cooperating anymore. The economies are starting to open up. This universal basic income isn't working. And now you have special interest groups. The people from the left have funded a bunch of lawyers to sue the governors of the states that refuse to give the extra money for unemployment. That extra money keeps people from going to work because they get more money on unemployment than they do going to work. You have to ask yourself, why the hell would you do that? You want to get people into work. So you got to question that. So whatever the plan is, it's not working the way you thought it would. And now there's a shortage on gold and silver. So if they revalue the silver, that and gold and silver, that throws a monkey wrench in their plans. Because everything's supposed to be on, you guys are starving to death, you guys need the money, it's because of the Rona. Now all of a sudden you got a new variant, and that's going to keep going. Excuses to keep you in lockdown. So you have to have money outside of the system. Outside of the system. Gold and silver is real money. Cryptos, I'm to be honest with you, I'm anticipating a run on them still. I started to see yesterday. It was no surprise to me at all. I thought it was a diversion. Obviously, it appears that way because now they're going down. Now that gold and silver is going up. But when gold and silver is going down, cryptos were going up. So, listening to this hour 47-minute long lecture on cryptocurrencies. Again, I support what it is that cryptocurrencies want to do. I still have not been able to get my concerns answered properly. It's just their period. And when people try to tie those concerns into saying, well, the same thing can happen to gold and silver. No. Mine's not stuck in digital prison. Mine I physically have. They can outlaw it all they want, but that doesn't mean I can't use it. Still can use it. Having said that, the more we can get the powers that be, which are these hedge funds, to keep investing into cryptocurrencies, the point the guy was trying to make is, look, once you start getting these really rich hedge funds and these bankers buying into the whole cryptocurrency thing, then it's going to make it almost impossible for governments to turn around and say, no, you can't do that. Now, what sucks about this central bank versus cryptocurrencies, period, I'm talking about the central bank's digital currency. Cryptocurrencies only have X amount of them that they've created. So they're limited, supposedly. I say that because I told you what keeps them from flipping a button and creating more. People say, no, you can't do that. But then I showed you what happens when you get derivatives. If people on the stock market can short 140% of stock, what makes you think they can't do that to Bitcoin? And what I mean by 140% of a stock, look at either you do something at 100%, how are you going over 100%? So this is what I'm talking about. When those types of people get involved into stuff like cryptocurrencies, remember cryptocurrencies we're supposed to be our way of getting away from those type of people. Now it almost seems like saving grace for cryptocurrencies is having those people involved so that it is adopted. But listen to him talk, I heard a guy earlier today say, a person asked him from Kitco, hey, do you see cryptocurrencies being used as a currency? He's like, I don't really see that. So what does that mean? It becomes an asset. Well, if it's an asset, it gets taxed at a different bracket. And if it's an asset, then what supports, what gives it its value? That would be the people and whether or not they accept the value they're being told. Once people lose confidence in the cryptocurrency, it'll crash. So Ethereum still cooking butt. This is good. And so what I was reading was this article saying, hey, gold and silver had went down yesterday due to the strength of the US dollar. I was like, well, what the hell made the US dollar all of a sudden jump up in value when everything that's going on in our economy tells you otherwise? So what we're learning, and when you listen to all the experts talk, all the things that are happening in our stock markets, gold and silver, and cryptocurrencies violate every rule of a free market. In other words, there's some unusual patterns. When something happens to one, something should happen different to another. But that's not the case. So gold and silver, along with cryptocurrencies, technically should be moving together when the market goes down. When the market does good, which is riskier asset, people get out of safe havens. So usually you'll see people get rid of their gold and silver because they feel more confident. Don't get rid of all of it, some of it. And the same should be for Bitcoin, you would think. But that's not how the market's responding. And it's not responding properly. This means this is all manipulated. We know this already. I told you about Lynette Zhang found a pattern in history that shows you that the markets are artificially pumped by the powers that be. Why everybody rushes over to get that first rush, make that instantaneous money because they want to jump on that bandwagon when assets shoot up, which is no problem with it. But if you time it wrong, you lose everything. We saw cryptocurrencies lose 50%, more than 50%, within, 2 days, 3 days? That's ridiculous. That's not a safe haven. It's not a true asset. So having said that, I'm seeing what Lynette's talking about. The markets are being artificially pumped to keep everybody away from gold and silver. They manipulate the values of these to drive them down so that the powers that be can buy these at a cheaper rate. This is paper value, not the actual physical value. So anyways, I was talking about, you can see over here, look at this. Gold heads for the worst month since 2016 on dollar strength. What the hell are you talking about, the dollar strength? Gold headed for the biggest monthly drop in more than 4 years on the back of gains in the dollar following the Federal Reserve's hawkish shift. The metal is trading near the lowest since April after the Fed pulled forward its forecast for interest rate hikes. Now, here's the thing. This is BS. We know this. So what's being dumped on gold is not the physical. It's the paper market that people are dumping. That's what you get your spot values out. They're dumping the paper because people are realizing that when they go to exchange the paper, they're not going to get the physical. So what they're doing is exchanging their paper and then buying the actual physical. But they don't mention that in here. You notice that? They go, oh, you haven't had the ETFs and all the shares are what they're dumping. It makes it look like, oh, look, people are dumping gold and silver. That's not happening. But even so, the fact that this thing said on the strength of the dollar, what damn strength are you talking about? A stronger dollar has added much of the pressure with the currency on course for its best month since March 2020. Best month in 2020. The markets, yeah, they crashed pretty good, so I guess. Investors have trimmed holdings on bullion-backed exchange trade funds. There you go, they did say it. So what did they do? Investors have trimmed holdings in bullion-backed exchange trade funds. See, so they're telling you this, but they're not being truthful. Yeah, so people are trading in their ETFs so they can go get the physical. They're getting rid of the bullion backed. They're not backed by bullion. We just found that out. They were exposed at the beginning of this year. So this is what they do. The powers that be, the news, they go, see, look, no need to run over to gold and silver. Everybody's confident in the dollar. The biggest enemy to the fiat dollar is gold, period. Period. So don't believe this. They're only talking about people swapping in and getting rid of that fake paper because that is another form of fiat, is the paper market. You don't want paper. You want physical. So strength of the dollar? Well, we know that's crap. The dollar's plunge calls for tactical asset allocation decisions. This was on July 29th. Oh, 2020, my bad. I was about to say when I saw this article. So the dollar is losing its value, by the way. Let me run over to the dollar index. Dollar index, there you go. So right now you see this going up like this. That's just for one day. 1 year. See that? Does that look like it's going up in value? 3 years? Nope. Going down in value. So look, we all know this. Over the last year, with the Rona and everything else, and the economy shut down, and unemployment being as high as it is, and algorithms controlling the stock market to artificially pump it, you can see that people are losing confidence in the dollar. This is just within the last year, all right? So it getting strength is crap, but it is right here according to this chart. But I don't know how. Nothing supports it. There's nothing down here that supports that. There's no articles that support the reason for the dollar to be stronger outside of them pumping more money into the system, period. So don't fall for this trap. Don't fall for these articles. Sure, people are getting rid of their ETFs because they're not going to get fooled. John Adams over in Australia exposed it, including Kiko, allegedly. Chris Marcus has done a great job of exposing this manipulated criminal empire that's going on. Lynette Zhang is doing a phenomenal job. Don't trust what we're seeing here. The death of the dollar is going to happen. There's nothing they're going to be able to do to save it. It's too late. So if you have your money sitting in the bank, don't be surprised if it don't get bailed in. They're already talking about it. How I did a video the other day and highlighted where Lynette Zhang told you, get ready. The bail-in is coming. I've been telling people about the bail-in now for almost a year. That's why I don't hold my money in the bank at all. It is all in precious metals with very little in the bank, only to cover my bills. I do keep safely somewhere. 6 months worth of actual fiat dollars plus 10%. So if there's a bail-in, that money don't get touched. You see, they can't touch the money if you physically have it in your house somewhere stashed. If you got a safe or you got a hiding spot where you could trust it to be there, you might want to consider, as a suggestion, putting that money somewhere so that if there's a bail-in, you don't lose that money. And when everybody does a run-in on the bank and they go to the ATM, they're only going to limit to how much money you can have per day, period. When they do give you some of it back. People are going to FDIC. No, the FDIC, there's not enough money in the kitty to cover it. So they're going to do this and they go, oh, see, this is why we need digital currency. See, the one thing I support about cryptocurrencies over this new central bank digital currency, they're limited to the amount of cryptos that are being made, supposedly. But I'll go along with it and say that's the truth. There's no limit to the central bank's dollar, just like they're doing now, because they're not printing out physical dollars. It's just they change it digitally. So what's the difference? There's nothing going to give it its value. It's a digital version of the fiat currency, period. They're telling us that we got trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. This is why the Nasera Jacera thing would be legit. Because there is no true trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. You did not create no physical dollars. All you did is flip a switch on digits. That's not real money. And the Constitution does address that. So these guys are getting way ahead of themselves. They're using the fake dollars to buy real money. They're using taxpayer dollars to buy assets, taxpayer dollars to buy gold and silver. It doesn't belong to them. It belongs to us. But they're the ones that are taking it right now. So this is why, again, I can't stress this enough. You want money outside of the system, period. You don't want to have your money in the system. You will lose out big time. And that includes IRAs and 401ks. I keep suggesting you take 25, 30%. Move it over just in case. There's nothing wrong with it. It's better to be safe than sorry. Go back and do Google. Go back and look at videos. Go back and do research on what happened in 2008 when people's retirement accounts were wiped out. So if you thought you're going to retire at 50-something or 60-something, no. They ended up working the rest of their lives. Unless you want to be one of them people, I suggest you do something to protect yourself. Move into gold and silver. Anyways, that's it for now. So I know a lot of you are like, well, what's happening? Again, we're just going to keep an eye on it. We know it's delivery time. So this is not shocking. I told you, give it a couple of weeks for them to clear out whatever crap they need to. Then you're really going to start to see the market move. It is moving in a positive direction today. We'll see if it continues. All right. Anyways, that's it for now. You guys hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. I'm out.